Hello, friends. So I recently read No Matter What by Cara Bastone, and I give this book a 3 out of 5. And here's why. So I am Camille Claiborne, your favorite book club moderator. And recently I read No Matter What by Cara Bastone, and I give this book a 3 out of 5. And here's why. So this book is actually listed as a contemporary romance. So it was a very interesting read because it's a romance novel, and the main characters are already married. So I don't think I've ever read a romance novel where the people were already living together and married. So that was very interesting. This book will have you thinking, and I think also providing you with reminders that of things you should apply to your own relationship. So let me just say this, I am not a married woman and I am no relationship guru. Book had me thinking, right? What really keeps a marriage together, right? I mean, outside of love, because I think even married couples have moments where their love fluctuates, right? Moments where you're really in love, moments where you're kind of in love, and moments where I think you are um, struggling to love your partner, right? So I was thinking, like, what really keeps a marriage together? So think about it. I think if you have children and you're a married couple, it's sort of the kids, right? So that, I mean, you have these children, so you might be more, you might feel a more of an urge to keep your marriage together if you have intertwined finances like businesses or just you're dependent on your husband or you're dependent on your wife, you financially dependent on them, you might feel more inclined to make your marriage work. But if you don't have those things, those external things, what really keeps two people married when they've kind of fallen out of love? And this book will have you thinking about that. Because I feel like if you don't have those things, like children or finances, um, like, do you really still have do you still have the inclination or the urge to work out the kinks in your marriage? Because all relationships have issues or have had issues at some point. They can be small issues, they can be big issues, but they all have something happen. A relationship has a trouble period, right? But I think this book will force you to think about what really keeps you there in your marriage when it's not finances, when it's not children, and when it's not really love because maybe in this season you've fallen out of love with your partner. So I think this reading this book, you get so many reminders. And I think the main reminder is communication. So this couple had so many issues that could have been resolved if they just communicated with one another. So I think this also speaks to the importance of communicating with your partner. And also, this book will have you also thinking about how important it is to have interests outside of your partner. You know, I think sometimes we get into relationships and all we see is our other partner, but this book reminds you that you have to have other outlets, right? Not always friends, but just other things that you do outside of your relationship with your partner. Because once these two married people start exploring their special interests outside of their marriage, it helps them be able to communicate with each other effectively, right? So I mean, the husband is seeing a therapist, but they're also doing things, right? So the wife is in a drawing class, the husband is going to spoken word, and it's helping him get in touch with his feelings. And because they're doing these other things, it helps them be able to communicate with one another. The issue that the married couple is experiencing isn't related to infidelity, because I feel like infidelity has been, it's so redundant at this point. So couples trying to overcome infidelity issues. So I like that it was not infidelity wasn't at the heart of the issue between the married couple. And I also like that the wife wasn't um like crying. How, like, sometimes you break up with somebody and all you can think about is that breakup, and you're feeling sad and you're very emotional and you're crying and you're begging this person to stay and maybe you can work it out with them. She does not do that. she says, if you want to go, go. And I really like that. Like, she was definitely sad that her marriage was ending, but she wasn't like overtly crying or begging him to stay. And I kind of like that sort of independent piece. Like, if you want to leave, just leave, right? I did like that about the main character. I think the other side of this book is it is a bit slow. There is no ways around it. It can be a very slow read. So this married couple who the story centers around does not kiss or have sex until the book is almost over. So it definitely can be a bit of a slow burn. But once you keep on reading, it picks up, and it becomes more the romance that, us romance readers are accustomed to, because this married couple rediscovers each other and they fall back in love and they start doing things together, and it's quite beautiful. So I did enjoy this book. I do give it a 3 out of 5 because it was a little bit slow, but overall I enjoyed it. Um, so if you have the time, check out No Matter What by Cara Bastone. I think you'll like it too. Happy reading, friends.